He doesn't scream, he doesn't flex, he doesn't chase highlights. But if you watch closely, he might just be the most important player on the best team in the NBA. Derrick White doesn't care about headlines, he cares about winning. And while the media focuses on Tatum and Brown, real hoopheads know who's holding the Celtics together. This is the story of Derrick White, quiet, consistent, elite, and why he's one of the league's most underrated stars, a true hidden gem. Derrick White wasn't supposed to make it. Born in Parker, Colorado, he didn't have offers from big colleges. He was barely recruited. He wasn't a 5-star, wasn't a 4-star. He wasn't ranked at all. He played 3 years at Division II University of Colorado, Colorado Springs, before transferring to the University of Colorado Boulder for his senior year. That's not a traditional path to the NBA. But nothing about Derrick White has ever been traditional. He wasn't flashy, wasn't loud. He just kept getting better, quietly, methodically, until teams had no choice but to take notice. In 2017, the San Antonio Spurs, known for spotting basketball IQ before athletic flash, drafted White with the 29th pick. Perfect fit. At first, he bounced between the NBA and the G League. He learned, adapted, waited. Then, in the 2018 to 2019 season, everything changed. White became a starter for the Spurs and made his presence felt on both ends of the floor. He had a 36-point playoff game against the Nuggets, showing he could perform on the big stage. But his game was still subtle. Defense. Secondary playmaking, smart cuts. The kind of things that don't trend on social media, but win games. Still, the Spurs were rebuilding, and White's game was too mature to waste in that system. And in 2022, everything changed again. On February 10th, 2022, Derrick White was traded to the Boston Celtics, a move that barely made headlines at the time, but quietly shifted the future of the Eastern Conference. Boston sent out Josh Richardson, Romeo Langford, a first-round pick, and a pick swap. At first, fans were skeptical. Why give up that much for a guy averaging 14 points? But Brad Stevens knew. The Celtics needed more than another scorer. They needed a connector. Someone who would do the dirty work, make the extra pass, take the toughest defensive assignment, and never complain. Derrick White was that guy. Since joining the Celtics, White has done everything. Need him to guard the opposing team's best perimeter scorer? Done. Need him to run the offense when Tatum sits? Done. Need a clutch three with the shot clock winding down? He's hit plenty. He's become one of the league's most effective point-of-attack defenders, ranking near the top in defensive win shares and guard blocks. And on offense, he plays with incredible pace and feel. He doesn't force anything. He keeps the ball moving. He spaces the floor. And when defenses collapse on Boston's stars, he punishes them from deep. In fact, in the 2022 to 2023 season, Derrick White hit 200 threes on 38% shooting, all while guarding the best players in the league. But somehow, he still flies under the radar. White doesn't just show up in the regular season, he elevates in the playoffs. Need proof? Look no further than Game 6 versus Miami in the 2023 Eastern Conference Finals. The Celtics were about to be eliminated. Down 1. Final seconds. Marcus Smart misses the game-winning shot, and out of nowhere, Derrick White crashes the glass, grabs the rebound, and tips it in with 0.1 seconds left. Game over. Celtics force Game 7. That moment alone should have immortalized him. But White wasn't looking for credit. He walked off the court like it was a Tuesday in February. That's Derrick White. Always in the right place, always doing the right thing, never asking for the spotlight. So why don't people talk about him more? Part of it is his style. He's not flashy. He doesn't dunk on people. He doesn't talk trash or throw up wild celebrations. And part of it is the Celtics' depth. With Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown, Kristaps Porzingis, and Drew Holiday. White often feels like the fourth or fifth option. But that's what makes him so valuable. He can be the fourth option, or the second, or the first if needed. He adapts. Always. He's a system all to himself. Plug him in anywhere, and the team gets better. If you like numbers, here's something for you. In the 2023-24 season, Derrick White was top 5 in defensive rating among guards, top 10 in catch-and-shoot three-point percentage, and number 1 in blocked shots by a guard. He averaged more blocks than most starting centers did per 36 minutes, from the guard position. And yet, no all-star selection, no all-defense first team, no media hype. But ask his teammates, they'll tell you he's the glue. Ask coaches around the league, they'll tell you he's a problem. Ask fans who watch the games, they'll tell you Derrick White is the real deal. At 29 years old, Derrick White is still writing his story. He's not chasing fame. He's chasing rings. And with the Celtics at the top of the standings, he's one of the biggest reasons why. He may never be the face of a franchise, but he's the backbone of one right now. Years from now, when fans talk about this Celtics era, they'll remember Tatum, Brown, maybe Porzingis, but the ones who really watched, they'll remember Derrick White. He doesn't need the spotlight, but he's earned it. He doesn't need to shout, because his game speaks loud enough. Derrick White is more than a role player. He's more than a good defender. He's a winner, a leader, a star in silence, and that's what makes him a hidden gem. Subscribe for more stories like this, and drop a comment if you think Derrick White deserves his all-star moment.